Today it's October 14th. The year is 2008, and we are at Miriam Bedein's apartment. I'm going to take some pictures of family photos. Rachel, her granddaughter, did this beautiful collage. Tell me about the trees next to it, since I have them both in the frame. They are cherry blossoms?
Yes, Rachel took those pictures at cherry blossom time.
They are lovely.
In Washington, D.C., where she lives.
Aha. That's the place for cherry blossoms, okay.
Right.
And then over here are family pictures. How many children and how many grandchildren do you have?
I have 3 children, 12 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild, and 1 on the way.
Pretty exciting.
And that that whole series there, my daughter, I'll tell you a funny story. My daughter made this thing of the grandchildren. These grandchildren are the precious flowers of a long life.
It's beautiful.
And David kept saying, there's one empty flower, there's one empty flower, I've got to finish it. That's how he had his, Sarah blames me for the reason he had his 6th child.
Oh my goodness. Let's go outside for a moment before we actually get seated again.
Before the weather changes.
Yes.
They said it was going to be a bright sunny day, but doesn't look it, does it?
So how long have you lived in this apartment?
Came here in 1992 when Philip was sick.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought this would be a great place for him.
How long was he here?
Not very long, just about a year, and then we went to Coatesville.
Mm.
He went to Coatesville nursing home, veteran center.
Right.
I pushed this back for some reason, and now I can't get around. I'm going to leave it. I better move it up because I'm having some company. Anyway, and also it's right near the train, which was great for me. And I don't mind the sound of the train.
On a clear day, you can see forever.
Yeah, this is look. See, here's the Ben Franklin Bridge, Walt Whitman Bridge, Penrose Bridge going to the airport. There's the very famous Octagon Blind School. And this goes all the way down to Delaware.
Trying to get better light because of the balcony to get some good lighting. Can you see in here? It's a little blurry. I mean, we have the whole skyline.
It's a shame that it's a little blurry. Oh, and there's, dear, it's now covered by, I was going to show you Overbrook High School, which suddenly disappeared here because it's cut. Oh, there it is, Overbrook High.
I see.
And,
Michael went to Overbrook High.
and you see about where that red tree is?
Uh-huh.
That's about where Will Smith lived. My kids went down and found the house. He lived in that area because they had him on 60 Minutes, so they could. And the only modern place here is that dorm, because the dorm burnt down.
Uh-huh.
And they were furious that they built it in the modern way. And since then, there's an edict that no houses can have their outside changed unless they burn down.
Because it's historic.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the National Historic Register.
I guess we should go back in.
Okay, you got what you want?
Mm-hmm. I might come out again if the sun
Now
really
it's-
comes
now
out.
the sun is coming
It's still fuzzy, but
out.
that's
Fuzzy?
okay. I'm going to take the pictures on the wall. I love this wedding picture.
Isn't that something?
It's really
That was the day of
amazing.
the wedding. The photographer said he was practicing, but they're not religious, that couple.
Right.
And so he was with them all day taking these really fancy shots. Well, did he find you a place to park? He didn't think he was going to be able
He sure did. I'm right out front.
Oh, he said, you're so busy with contractors.
Your National Leadership Award is something I should take a picture of. I'm going to put that on your lap.
What's that? That's from Hadassah, I guess.
Who did the lighthouse?
My nephew, Noam.
It's lovely.
Grandson. Noam loved to, that's another thing. He's a super photographer.
Mm.
And And I guess he gets this from his painting stuff. Yeah, from his art.
How old is he?
He is 20. Rachel's 27. 25, 26.
Mm.
You want a light on there?
Not yet. But I will in a minute.
Here's me. Well, my mother would never let me go to school with. In the old days, they didn't have. Just don't take this one because this one would look too fat. This did you get this one when I was 6 years old with the?
I did. I got a great shot of that actually, and the light is just right on
My mother
it.
never let me go to school without a bow in my hair.
I want to try your office. I might need the lights on in there. Let me see. Yes, that helped a bit. How many hours a day do you spend in here?
Well, between the computer and 3 to 4 hours, I'd say, altogether.
So you're really computer savvy?
Yeah. Well, a lot of things I can't do. I can't do spreadsheets as if your mom can do spreadsheets. I never had to, so. But
Would you like to do the interview in this room or the other room?
the other room, I think.
Okay.
And here's this picture is the, if you can, that's a picture of me teaching. Came from a yearbook.
And how many years were you at your school?
23.
That was Marple Newtown?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have my brother-in-law?
Oh, sure. Michael? Alan?
Yes.
And both of them. And Alan and Michael. Michael was memorable.
There you are teaching.
See, these, when you get through, just take a Grandy.
Ooh,
Noah
beautiful.
did this booklet and all his pictures and stuff.
Ooh, bring that into the living room.
Okay.
There is so much
See,
to
we got
see.
rid of a lot of these books here because we thought I was going to go to Mark's. Financially, we changed our minds.
It's really expensive.
Yeah.
But even if you could afford it.
Everyone says I'm too involved. Stay here and get help if I need it. So
Right.
right now, that's what I'm thinking of doing.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
And that's my grandmother for whom I was named. If you can get
What was her name?
Miriam?
Of course. Does she have a middle name?
I don't know.
And last name?
Weinberger.
Okay.
She married my grandpa Alex.
Mm-hmm.
They were matched over here. She grew very statuesque, and he stayed a runt. And the
Who were
story
these?
is he was on he drove a trolley car, and when he went out every day, he hid her corset so she couldn't go out.
That wasn't very nice.
Oh, I just noticed I have 2 pictures of me with Mira.
I love that name, Mira.
I do too.
Okay, I think I'm ready to go into the other room now, but it's obvious what a rich family history and friends. What's this on the computer?
I don't know. Oh, that's Ruhama. That one, it'll come back. When she was a year old, they took her as a cover girl they had a little pamphlet about living in a front, and she was the cover girl.
That's great.
This is, I don't know how you could get it. I always keep this because I love it. This picture with me, this is now the bride with my two granddaughters. I love this picture.
Okay, let me see if I can get it in. What I'll do is I'll take these things. A lot of them, the lighting isn't so good,
Yeah.
but you'll get whatever I have, and then, of course, we'll do the edited thing. There we go. All right. And even on the computer, you're in constant.
That's Phil's mother.
So what I was telling you is I've only just developed basic photography skills. It's Evan who really has the major skills. I'm doing this because I want to. When did you get this Adasa Leadership Award?
I don't know. When you're through taking a picture, I'll look at it. No, that wasn't because I was president. It was a leadership award. I had been president a long time ago. My mother got one too.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I didn't remember the year.
Okay. So you may as well sit down and make yourself comfortable.
And back here is Magritte's rock that from the Israel Museum, and my number 1 grandchild, Amakai, gave it to me.
Aww.
He bought it for me. He said, "That's you, Grandma."
You do rock, Miriam. I love that haircut.
Thank you. I do too. I'm really so pleased. And let's see, when I wash it, I guess it won't go up this, like this. She said I could gel it in a little bit, but
Yeah,
I like it.
I like it too. So do you want to turn your chair around a tiny bit? That's good.
Whatever way you want.
That's good.
Is the light good, or do you want a light?
No, light is really good.
Okay.
You look terrific. You look marvelous.
Thank you.
And actually, if that's your natural color, that is a great
Yeah, that's my
color.
natural color.
Then you don't need to do anything to it.
That's what they kept yelling at me. There's a little blonde in it. I might get little blondes because when it gets white, it's really white.
It looks kind of blondish to me.
Well, there's some blonde left. So I may just get a little tints of blonde or something. Because when it's white, it is white.
Like my hair has white, you can see.
Yeah, I had a lot like you did. I had a gray streak when I was 16 years old and going through.
Really?
Like this.
You don't have it now.
Well, it all went into whatever.
So tell me, we're going to start from the beginning. Where were you born, and how many places have you lived over the course of your life?
Oh, gosh. I was born in Brooklyn, in the Sheepshead Bay area. That's near Manhattan Beach, Brighton Beach, and all that. And Avenue X and 21st Street. In fact, it was 2 streets away from where the original Lohmans was. My mother knew Mrs. Lohman. She was German and tried to push herself off as Jewish so she could get all the customers. She used to sit outside her door and pull people in. My mother told the people at Lohman's this here. They sat her down and found out everything she knew about Lohman's. Then when I was 6 years old, we moved to Long Island because my father had a business of making men's clothing, was doing very well. And we just picked a nice house on Long Island. His name was Abe Levy, remember that. And after we moved there, we realized that the German-American Bund was down the street and the KKK was behind our house. I even saw them put their sheets on. So here we were in Limbrook, Long Island. At that time, very few Jews. So the first thing my father did, you saw the picture, he joined the American Legion, became commander, and figured he had to learn the art of living, living where you were not wanted. And right near us was this town of Oceanside, which is now very Jewish. And there was a big sign, which I'll never forget, no Jews, no dogs, no niggers.
Can you write that down so we can send it to Seth Bransom? He wants to know these things. I have seen his place with Evan, and he showed us all of his documentation. So that would be very good to have that personally in writing from you.
This is Long Island.
Yes, wherever it's restricted, he wants wants documentation.
The whole area was restricted.
Yes.
And I went to public school there. We were districted in East Rockaway, which even had fewer Jews, maybe 10. And I was escorted to school by 2 little Catholic girls. My street was wonderful. There were like 8 or 9 girls, all from different religions. And it was wonderful for me, and nobody even thought of prejudice then. And that was 1936. That was after the onset. No, 26. I was 6 years old, so that was 33. And my father did not lose his money in the Depression because he didn't have anything in stocks. So we were the only, and my mother being Jewish, we were the only ones with a maid. My mother said she knew she should have a maid. She had nothing to do because the maid did everything. And they thought we were the weirdest people on the block, not because we were Jewish, because we had money. And my mother, incidentally, when she found 2 little Catholic girls to escort me most of the way to school because they're Catholic, we went through a woods, and my school went this way and theirs went this way. She said I had to be protected from the one little part where they weren't with me. She taught me how to fight dirty. She said you put the knee to the knee to the groin and the foot to the ankle or something. So I taught David that when he was 6 years old, when he went to Lamberton, because he was short and people picked on him, and he did that to one big sloppy little kid who was torturing him, and nobody ever bothered him since, because he said, they got Kushner on the ground, I got Kushner on the ground. So we lived there until in 1938 or 9, my father found out that his uncle, who he had put through college, stole his business away from him. which you hear about all the time. And he was penniless. My grandfather had money, but wouldn't pay for the rest of the money in the house because my father didn't want to work for him for $10 a week. So my father thought he could get another job, which he didn't for a while. So we found another house, but we stayed in Lynbrook until 1941, when my father got a job up in Boston in the quartermaster corps in the Army. So that's when we moved in. It was a terrible time to move when you're going to be 16 and you're a big shot at your school and you're this and you're that. In fact, I was editor of the junior high paper, and how I got into that is I wanted to be on the athletic team so badly because all my girlfriends were athletic. They said, you know, Miriam, you'll never make a team. Why don't you be sports editor? And that's how I became editor. And I left, and I must tell you that that's the train. 4 years later.
Do we have the door closed?
You can close it. Many years later, they had a reunion. They had a special tribute to one who left us, Miriam Levy. I have the video. It's really unbelievable that was very nice because I left after 9th grade. So I went up to Boston. My heart was broken. But what made it acceptable, my mother decided, as long as we were moving, and she knew we all loved the ocean because we lived in Long Island near the ocean, she moved to Winthrop, Massachusetts, and 3 doors away was the beach. And that compensated for everything. I forgot that my friends and everything. I was so excited. And I went to Winthrop High School. And I made a few friends. You either were very religious Jews or girls. You can get real snobby up there. You were either in the commercial class. I don't know if they had this in Philadelphia. Probably not when you went to school. Either were college prepped or commercial.
Right, Vogue Tech or academic track.
Yeah, and I only wanted to be with girls in the academic track. The others were very nice, but the academic track girls were very, very religious. They were frum and they drove me crazy. So I didn't have any really. I didn't a lot of close friends, but all I remember was the beach.
You have that picture you were going to show me of your home and what the beach did to it. We have it marked in that.
Yeah, we have it marked in the book. But
you can show it to me. I'd love to see it.
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
What it did and what it did to the street, because I lived in a 3-decker house, and I'll tell you what it did to the street. Wait, hold on a minute. Hold on.
It's just so coincidental that Evan and I just last week were at this man's house and saw his entire archives.
Oh my God!
Not his entire, actually.
Here's the core. I don't know how you're going to see this way.
Yes, that's the page.
That's the page.
It's on Seth Bramson's book, Winthrop. Page
48.
48. Okay, I have pictures.
Then you get to 54, and you see how this corner of the street was washed away in 1945. And I was in a movie house in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and saw this on the newsreel. I called my mom and dad, and they didn't answer, and I was hysterical. I called the Winthrop police. They were evacuated to the high school because of this.